Hey there YouTube, and welcome to Scruffy City Aquatics. My name's Mitch, and this is my new channel. I have a YouTube account that has operated as a channel somewhat, as I've just kind of explored YouTube. A few years ago, I guess a little over a year ago, I started a video journal of my 75-gallon aquarium that's behind me. I'm gonna move so that you can kind of see more of it. But yeah, I've been doing that for a while over on my regular channel. Yeah, I just thought I might actually do a dedicated channel to aquariums. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Been in the hobby 8 to 9 years, somewhere around there. I'm not entirely sure. We got a 10-gallon tank that I convinced my wife we should get for the kids. I have 2 daughters, so we ended up with a princess tank. It had the rainbow barf gravel. No offense if you like the rainbow barf gravel. But I did it so that we could get into having an aquarium. And yeah, so for that first year or so, that's what we had. My first fish were live bears that I got at PetSmart. And I think they were platies. There might have been like one molly, like a Dalmatian molly. A few years later, I attempted to do a planted tank and it was disastrous. I had so many problems. I had no idea what I was doing. My light wasn't ready for even, low light plants may have worked, but I knew so little that I was keeping nitrates so low that plants just didn't have a chance. And that 10-gallon tank, I would think Anubias and maybe even Java Fern would have survived, but it didn't. I killed it. And yeah, it was a while before I figured it out. Some really bad restarts, lots of algae as the plant started to deteriorate, and it was gross. And then at one point we upsized. When I did that, I changed everything over to a more natural look. So I had more natural looking gravel. I had a couple of pieces of driftwood in the tank, and I really liked where it was going. I tried the live plants again and still had issues. And so that drove me deeper and deeper online. This also drove me to my local fish stores. We have some really great fish stores in my area. I live in Knoxville, Tennessee, and I learned a lot just by visiting these stores. And I found one store in particular that I really liked and got to know some of the people running it, and they were a lot of help. I did find some YouTubers that I really enjoyed their content, and I started to really trust what I was learning there. And then also some locations online. And so doing that, I learned a great deal about the hobby. And so that's kind of why I wanted to create this channel. Locally, we have a really happening YouTube scene. It's really cool to see all the content creators that we have in the area. And I don't know, it just kind of inspired me to do this too. I'm not going to be the most knowledgeable. I'm never the most knowledgeable in the room when it comes to the hobby. I can just talk about my own experiences and the mistakes that I've made and that I've learned from. And that's really what this channel is going to be about. So why Scruffy City Aquatics? Knoxville is known as the Scruffy City, and that comes from the hosting of the World's Fair in 1982. The Wall Street Journal wrote an article. I don't know who actually wrote the article, but the Wall Street Journal published it. And in the article, they talked about what happens if you host a World's Fair and nobody cares. What happens if you put it in a city that nobody's going to go to? And in that article, they referred to Knoxville as a scruffy little city. For many cities, that might have been an insult, but Knoxville really embraced it. And at that time, there was a lot of talk of it being a scruffy city. So I thought if I was going to make a channel, it seems kind of appropriate to use that name, because if I make a channel, what if nobody comes to see it? What if there's nothing worth checking out? And that absolutely could be the case. I'm really selling it at this point. But I'm just going to do me. I'm just going to have fun with it and see what happens. And I don't know exactly what the content will look like. So I've got a few projects going on in 2022. I have new Corydora that are currently in quarantine that I picked up at a local fish store. I've had to treat them with Paracleanse, which honestly, when you buy fish, you're probably going to have to treat them with something for parasites. Let me think that through. So yeah, these are in quarantine. I'm probably about 2 weeks out from introducing them to the 75-gallon. I'm really excited about. I also just put together my first patio pond, and summer tubbing, something that I've wanted to do for a long time. I don't have a lot of space. I don't have a large yard. I have a patio though. I picked up this 22-inch planter at Roll King recently, and I just dumped some stuff that I already had in it, and I'm trying to see how it'll work. So far it's a little bit of a disaster, but we'll see. Hopefully it works out pretty well. I also have some new plants, mostly these right here, and actually some over here, that I picked up at our first fish swap with our local fish club, new fish club that I've been a part of. And so I'll probably chronicle some of that. I really, really enjoy the planted tank. As you can see, that's a big part of my hobby. I'm looking forward to maybe featuring some of these plants, talking about my experience with them, which will be different from other people's experience, I'm sure, and somewhat the same. But yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about maybe some equipment, like I've got a cheapo light. I've got a Night Crew light that I run. I've also got a really cheap canister filter down here. I have a Sun that I've been running for over a year. Absolutely no issues. And I know sometimes a lot of people talk bad about them, but I've had nothing but good experience. Also did DIY CO2 this year, so maybe that's something I'll talk about too. I'm really looking forward to upgrading to a compressed cylinder and being able to do CO2 that way using a regulator. That'll probably be part of this year, hopefully. I recently got a hold of some superior red albino guppies, and I'm really looking forward to breeding those. This tank used to be full of mollies. Most of the mollies are going to be going outside in the patio pond, but what I have left, I got rid of most of them. I think I already said that. That was redundant. Anyway, I'm looking forward to breeding these. But that's the channel. That's what it's going to be about. I have no idea how entertaining it will be or whether it will be entertaining at all. I just plan on doing some stuff with it. So I hope you'll check it out. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. All the YouTube stuff. Do the things, get notified, and we'll see what happens. Camera. It's horrible. Look right there. Look at that dog. See, that dog's cute. This biting dog, it's not cute. It's not fun. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. And now you're gonna bite me again. Locally, we have a really happening YouTube scene. Ah, dog. Slowly get rid of them. A lot of them are going out to the patio pond. I'm planning on keeping them up there. My lights are going to start dimming now for some reason. That's great. That really makes the shot. Thanks for checking me out. I'm not going to say that. That's horrible.